All right, I'm Ken Canion. Welcome to Love, Lust, and Lies, and I'm your host. And today's topic is preparing for Mr. Right. Could be preparing for Miss Right. Just so happens that this show is geared toward women, so I'll say for Mr. Right. But it could be for any type of relationship. Preparing for your ideal relationship. I just use Mr. Right because it sounds good for marketing. All right. And so today we're going to talk about how do you actually prepare? How do you actually prepare for the ideal relationship of your dreams? And we're going to talk about that. So let me go back to what happened. So I was talking to someone recently, and that particular person said, you know what, Ken? She said, if I don't ever meet anybody, I don't care. If I don't ever do this, or if I don't, and she was saying all of the things of why she didn't have any person. So she was saying there are no good men out there, men cheat, and all of those things. And I stopped her in her tracks and I said this. I said, the reason you're saying all of these things is to justify your current situation. She was like, what? I said, so the reason why it's okay to say that all men cheat, that no one, is because when you say that, you justify you not having a man. It's okay to not have a man if all men cheat. It's okay to not have a man if all men or no men are unemotionally available. It's okay to not have a man when you say that all good men are taken. So what that does is justify your current situation and circumstance. And so what I'm saying is, and I said, listen, the problem with saying that is the more you say that, the more you will have which you say. And the Bible says there's power in life or death in the tongue, right? And the truth is, y'all, you can create your future. You manifest your future by what you say, all right? And so if you say those things, that'll be what you have. And so what I wanted to do today was, for those people who really want to have a great relationship, who want to prepare for the person of your dream, your ideal relationship, then I decided I was going to do a talk on how do you actually prepare for the relationship of your dream. Now, let's start there. Now I'm gonna give y'all, so let's get real. Like I said before, many people out there ask God, say, God, I want a man. I want a relationship. And you ask him secretly. And then you say, you know what, God, I'm ready for that relationship of my dream. And the dreams that I have of being with someone. I want to be happy. And so then God says he starts doing things in your life that causes you to work on yourself. He starts identifying and showing you areas in your life that you need to improve. Because remember this, God will never promote who he hasn't prepared. I'll say it again. He will never promote. God will never promote. Now, man might promote you, but many of you are praying. Many people I know come to me and say, Ken, I prayed. And I said, well, wait a minute. He will never promote who he hasn't prepared. And the truth of the matter is, you are not prepared. Okay? I said, you are not prepared. And she says, well, one of my clients recently says, what do you mean I'm not prepared? And I said, okay, let me show you. I said, so this whole talk is going to be about preparing yourself for Mr. Right. Number one. All right. So the first thing you have to be willing to do is understand this. You have to be willing to do something to get something. You have to be willing to take action. Now, I am not talking about you have to go out and find Mr. Right. That's not the action I'm talking about. I'm talking about the action that you're going to take that's going to attract Mr. Right, because you're going to become Miss Right. All right. So the first thing you got to be willing to do is you got to be willing to do something. You got to be, and so you got to be willing to let go to allow something to come into your life. And what the first thing is, if you're not willing to let go of something to get something, you'll never receive Mr. Right if you still have Mr. Wrong hanging on. If Mr. Wrong still coming by at 11 o'clock banging that thing, you ain't gonna never meet Mr. Right, because the energy surrounding Mr. Wrong is going to encompass you. You cannot allow the energy needed, the vibration needed, the spirit needed to come into your life for Mr. Right because Mr. Wrong is around. And you think Mr. Wrong is just the one I'm going to let go because I got needs too, Ken. I know you got needs too. But what's more important? Getting the needs met or finding the right person? Keep messing around with the same dude who got you as the side chick, and there's another, his main lady, he cheating on her too. But you going to stay in it because, you know, that's all I can get. Or he ain't going to do right. Or ain't no man going to do right. Because remember I said, you say that to justify the current situation that you're in. Stop that. Be willing to let something go to allow something in your life. Okay? If you're not willing to let him go, let him not willing to let go. You can't get Miss Right. If you're not willing to let go the way you communicate, if you're not willing to let go the controlling nature you have, if you're not willing to let go the anger you have, if you're not willing to let go the mistakes of the past, you cannot get anything new into your life. It just ain't going to happen. And so the first thing, I didn't say you had to let it go right away. I said you got to be willing to let it go. Then you have to work with somebody that helps you let those things go so you can heal from those things. But the truth of the matter is, if you're not willing to let go those things that are preventing you from having the relationship you desire, then you're going to keep getting what you're getting. They say insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. It is so very true. So the first thing, you got to be willing to let go to allow in. You got to be willing to let go to allow something in. Let go Mr. Wrong to allow Mr. Right in. Let go that controlling nature to be able to have a collaborative partnership with somebody. You got to have to let go your selfishness to work on partnership, to allow partnership. All of those things you got to be willing to do. So what you have to identify is, what things do you have to let go? What things are you willing to let go to let in? Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, if you're not willing to let go, you're not going to receive. It's that simple. And so what happens is, when you receive something, everybody knows when you receive something, you have your hand open, okay? But if you're so closed, if your hand is so closed on what you got, and you know that what you have is not enough for what you want, you still keep it though. And I remember my late great bishop used to say this. He says, if you don't have enough for what you want, let your hand go and make it a seed, and let that seed, allow that seed to grow into something. And if you don't allow that seed to grow into something, then you cannot have that which you desire because you're so closed off. So the first thing is, be willing to let go to allow in. The second thing is this. You have to embrace where you are, and who you are. Now listen to what I said. Embrace where you are and who you are to ever get something else. Now that doesn't mean that, because here's what happens. Many people lie to themselves. They lie to themselves, and they will not acknowledge where they are. They will not acknowledge that they got an attitude problem. They will not acknowledge that they don't have it all together. So what we're so busy doing, we're so busy masquerading. We're so busy putting our mask out there. We're so busy sending our representative, where we're not embracing. Y'all, let me tell you what happened to me recently. And at the end of the day, I'm very transparent. So last year I wanted to attract the right partner. But I had to embrace that I had limiting beliefs that was keeping me from attracting the right partner. I kept saying, ain't nobody gonna work as hard as me. I'm not gonna meet anybody who wants to be in partnership and sacrifice the same as me. I'm not gonna meet anybody who won't leave me holding the bag. Because of past relationships, past partnerships that I've had, I carried that baggage with me. Thus, it limited the things that I could attract in my life. When I was willing to release that, when I was willing to acknowledge that, acknowledge where I was, here's where I am. I am a person that says things that is limiting my potential. God cannot give me something, give me that which I want, because I'm speaking negative in my life. So it's like, I want positive. I want to be rich. but I'm speaking poverty in my life. God don't work in that environment. He can't work in that environment. And at the end of the day, that's what I was getting. Y'all, that's what I was getting. And so what I'm saying, I had to acknowledge that, you know what? I'm not right. What is it that about me that I have to change? When you get to the point that I'm acknowledging where I am. Here's where I am. Some of you have acknowledged where you are. I've had a divorce. You know what? I'm not in the greatest place. I need healing. Acknowledge it. But the sooner you acknowledge it, the quicker your healing is come, the quicker God can work with you. He said, okay, well, if you say I'm not good with money, when you first admit that I'm not good with money, God says, okay, now that is the first step to healing that, to you becoming good with money. When you admit, here's where I am not good, but I have a desire to be. I'm not in a relationship. I know that I'm controlled. I know that I need to change. I have a desire to. Now I can speak my intention, but I am not disillusioned about who I am and where I am. I know. What did he say? Come as you are. He says, come as you are, and I will work with you. Many of us are not true because we still masquerading. We're projecting. And in projecting, we're projecting an image of what we think people want to see. And that in that projection, we're not being true to ourselves. We're not acknowledging where we are. We're not acknowledging who we are. It doesn't mean that you'll be the same person in a year from now, but you got to start somewhere. And so now I've attracted the partner of my dreams because back in September of last year, I said that I was going to change what I thought. I realized where I was. I realized my thoughts and actions was preventing me from attracting that partner. Now I have a partner who works just as hard as me, who has all of the things that I'm not good at. I have the things that she's not good at. And now what happens is we have a synergistic relationship and helping the world with better relationships. And y'all, we're not in competition. But until I was willing to say where I was, willing to acknowledge who I was, willing to acknowledge that the person I was today was not the person I needed to be to get what I wanted. Because what's happening to many people is you have to become the person that can attract that which you want. God will never promote who he hasn't prepared. You got to go through the preparation stage. And some of that means changing who you are. Changing who you are as a person. But you can't change because you won't change you. And until you decide to change you, that which you seek, you can't find it. Because the truth is that what you seek seeks you. But you're not willing to find it because you have to become the person who can find it. Does that make sense? All right, and I'm going to give you one more. One more. All right, number 3, to attract Mr. Right, you got to level up to get a level up. You have to level up to get a level up. So let me tell you what that means. It's because if you're not willing to level up, and what does level up mean? Go to the next level in your life. See, the next level in your life is uncomfortable. The next level in your finances is uncomfortable because you already know that I spend too much money. I'll never save money. I'm waiting to the next check and then I don't have money. You already know that. And so because you don't want to level up, you can't get a level up. Now you want a man who is financially stable, but you're financially unstable. Unstable, not unstable. It's not congruent. It doesn't work. You want a man who is healthy and in shape, but you ain't healthy and in shape. You see what I'm saying? But you're not willing because you will attract that which you are. So you're the type of person, you say, I want to attract somebody who's in shape, who got a six-pack, this and that, but you're not, okay? And so you don't want to level up and start taking care of your body. You don't want to level up, get rid of your high blood pressure, get ready to start eating right. And thus, you won't get the person that you want. You want somebody to communicate with you, but yet your communication skills suffer. And you're not even willing to invest in yourself. You want somebody who's willing to invest in you. Get this. You want somebody who's willing to invest in you, but you're not willing to invest in yourself. So everything you're doing is incongruent to the man you want to attract. Everything you're doing is incongruent, yet you keep crying out to God, 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 help me. And then he sent somebody like me, an imperfect messenger, okay, who tells you, look, to attract what you want, you got to become that, all right? I'm not saying, y'all, I'm not saying you got to change everything about you, but what I'm saying is, let's start with one thing. Let's start with one thing. If you know your finances, all right, let's say I'm going to save $10 a week. Just $10 a week, let's say you've never saved any money, and you say I'm gonna save $10 a week, and God knows that's a sacrifice. And see, it's not equal sowing, it's equal sacrifice. To a person who don't make but $100 a week, $10 is big. To a person who makes, $10,000 a week, $100 ain't nothing. See, what God looks at, he looks at the sacrifice. I'm willing to be better. So if I save money, I can attract somebody that saves money. Okay, God, I want to learn how to communicate. I got a client, y'all, right now who came to me back in January. And she was messed up emotionally. She might be even listening to this. She gonna see this video. But I said, listen, don't try to change everything at once. All I want you to do is work on one thing. And what God gonna do is he will multiply. See, God is a multiplier. He's better than compound interest. He's a multiplier, because what he does is he'll take that little bit that you're doing, and all of a sudden you look up and you're like, I got $1,000 saved from $10 a week, because he's a multiplier. It's your intent. It is your intent. The intent in your heart. The intent. And so you got to prepare for Mr. Right. But you prepare for Mr. Right by becoming Miss Right. That's my time today. I threw all my notes out the window. All right, hold on. All my notes, done. I ain't even used my notes. Let God do his work today. All right, y'all, until tomorrow, have a great day. Remember, every journey starts with one step. Take yours today. I'm out.